What's up YouTube, it's Eli. Welcome back to the channel for another video. Today's video is going to be focused more on producing, and more specifically it's going to focus on utilizing the gear that you have in your studio to render your life easier. As an engineer, my primary focus is on recording, mixing, and to some extent mastering. So I haven't really been putting a lot of time towards producing, though I do get to produce quite often. So just like I have gears in my studio dedicated towards recording and mixing, I also have gears dedicated towards producing as well. So earlier this week, a good friend of mine who's been focusing on producing got a new piece of native instrument equipment, more specifically the Machine Micro MK3. And while he was setting it up, he gave me a call and we looked at it. We kind of geeked out over it. And then I realized that, wait a minute, I have the native instrument A61 keys. Now, though they are not the exact same pieces of equipment, they do work fairly similarly. And both of them do come with Machine 2. And that kind of got me thinking that I have been using my A61 more as a MIDI controller and not exactly how it was intended to be used, though it is a great MIDI controller, but it does more than that. So I decided to just dive into it and decided to look into the software, which I have never used since I got the native instrument A61 keyboard. I've never actually opened the machine. Well, no, I have actually opened the machine, but I have never actually used it to produce anything or to create anything with. So it's literally just been sitting on my computer. But I decided to watch a few videos on YouTube to see how to integrate it with Logic, my primary producing DAW, and see how that would work. And that made me realize that I have been missing out on how to use the A61 keyboard, right? It has a lot of cool features that works perfectly with Logic, specifically being able to scroll through my session like this, or switch between tracks like this. So I've been using those, and also the transport controls, I have been using those. So essentially when I'm producing in Logic, I'll just load up my instruments and then I turn to this side. This is where my keyboard is. So I just turn to this side and I'm focused on the keyboard. I can switch between the tracks. I can start recording. I can stop. I can put on my loop. I can tap tempo, the whole 9 yard. I can do all of that from the keyboard without having even to look at the computer. I can quantize. I can even undo if I made a mistake. So things like that, I've been able to utilize the keyboard to do those things. But the one thing that I have been missing on is using Machine within Logic and its abilities to do what the Machine does. I've seen a lot of producers on YouTube producing strictly from Machine and not using any other DAW with it. So it's capable of doing a lot. It's really capable of doing a lot. I just haven't been utilizing it. And when you actually open it inside of Logic, you don't actually get a watered down version of it. You get the full DAW right within Logic. So everything that you can actually do in Machine when you're using it standalone, you can do all of those things in Logic as well. The only thing is when you're using it within Logic, it is a slave to Logic. So a lot of the key features you have to do in Logic and it automatically saves, like changing the tempo and things like that. You can't change it in the plugin itself because it's being open as a plugin. So you have to change the tempo, start recording and stopping and all that within Logic. But you can do pretty much everything else right within the plugin. Essentially, the only difference is that it opens in a smaller window, and also it's slaved to Logic. So everything that changes your project has to be done within Logic. But other than that, as far as producing wise, you can do the whole thing inside of Machine while it's open inside of Logic, right? I haven't really got a chance to use it a whole lot. I just literally just been learning on how to set it up within Logic to work to my advantage. And I was able to come up with a quick little pattern. But the process to get that quick little pattern was so easy that I decided to make this video on it, just in case there's other people out there who's been using it the same way that I have been using it and not taking full advantage of what it's capable of. So if you're one of those people, I hope this video helps you. So let's take a look at what I was able to do real quick. So I started out with this pattern titled Instrument 1. I haven't really named it yet. So what I did, I was trying to see how to set up machine within Logic to work to my advantage, right? So I loaded up instead of machine as a multi-instrument out, loaded up a drum kit, and this is what we got. All right, so it's not a fancy drum kit. It's one of the free drum kits that comes with Native Instruments hardwares, but you can go ahead and swap out the sound to whatever you may have in your library. Now, I selected my kit and loaded it up into the program, and then I went ahead and created all the separate tracks all the separate out tracks that I wanted to have, and then I went ahead and split everything to the channels that I wanted them to come out to. I'm not actually even done with that yet, but I started doing that, and then I'm like, hey, let me start messing around and see what I can come up with. So I came up with this nice little pattern real quick. Fairly simple, right? And I went ahead and added an 808 to it. While I was doing that, I decided to also take a look at Complete Control, which is, again, another plugin that you get with any pieces of Native Instrument hardware that you get that I never actually used. And I decided to pull an instance of that up. And from there, I was able to open up Anna 2 from Slate Digital within that plugin itself. So I got a plugin open within a plugin. So I'm sure you guys already knew it does that. And then I went to take a look at the scale feature that it has, and I was able to come up with this nice little melody. That took me seconds to do. I wasn't even thinking about what I was playing. I just played it and it worked, and I liked it, and there it is. And that is it. That's all I got for the beat so far. And I just thought it would make a nice little video to show you guys that when you don't utilize the hardware that you have, you are missing out. When you have a piece of hardware, it's always good to dive into it and see exactly what it's capable of. If you don't do that, you're going to be missing out on a lot of the features that it can actually do. So don't be like me. Actually do dive into the hardware that you have and see what it can actually do. Hope this video was helpful. If it was, make sure to drop a like and comment down below to show your support to this channel. And if you're new, don't forget to hit on the subscribe button and turn on the notification for more videos like this. I'll see you guys next time in the next video.